and this is Sarah Spain. What do you like on the show today, Sarah?
I can't wait to fix the NFL.
Oh, we're going to do that again. Dale, papi.
Should the Saints just have to eat that?
Oh, some sour jambalaya, some sour gumbo. A clerical error has basically kept the Saints out of the Super Bowl. Everyone agrees, even the person doing the cheating here, that this was pass interference and maybe all sorts of other stuff. Helmet to helmet.
Unnecessary roughness.
And the rules on this, because of the stakes, are going to change the same way they did with the catch and Des Bryant. We are going to fix this. Maybe it's the Canadian Football League's rule of having pass interference being challenged. Maybe it's Bill Belichick's suggestion that you can challenge anything. But listen to Sean Payton. He's totally right here, and he talked to the league office about it. They're admitting it too.
It was simple. They blew the call. They said it should never have not been a call. They said not only was it interference, it was helmet to helmet. There were two calls. They couldn't believe it.
Yeah, the question is, should they have to eat it? And the answer, unfortunately, is, I guess, yeah, because there is a rare rule where the commissioner could step in and say, let's restart the game with 1:49 left. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen. So, yeah, they have to eat it. But Dan's right. This is exactly the kind of thing that's going to change the rules. In the CFL this season alone, there were 42 defensive PIs challenged. 20 of them were overturned. That's almost half of them that they didn't get. And with Belichick always arguing for this, people said, we don't want more challenges. We don't want judgment calls challenged. But if you're using a challenge, we're not adding time. We're just adding to the things you can challenge for. Presumably, unless it's in the last 2 minutes, you're not actually going to be getting more challenges. You're simply allowing one more thing that you can get right instead of us spending a whole Monday talking about this instead of who won.
I want to examine this for a second, though, because the Rams are now in the Super Bowl because a soccer player was able to kick something from 57 yards out, and a bunch of old guys did some bad job on refereeing instead of all those athletes that you saw with those two great teams. That's not how those games should be decided. But when she says the commissioner has the power to do this, wouldn't you like them starting over right now on Monday, a minute and a half left, the same way we did the Pine Tar game many years ago that George Brett had to do? If you're ever going to do that, this would be the spot when everyone agrees you got it wrong.
To be fair, they were estimated to have a 98% chance to win. If that had been called, they knelt 3 times, kicked a field goal, about 15 seconds left for the Rams to win it. But to be fair to LA as well, Dan, one of the other reasons that the Saints lost is because Breeze threw a pick in overtime. So we got to at least acknowledge that the Rams did some things and the Saints did some bad things as well.
Let's be even fairer to the Rams and say there was a missed face mask on Goff that would have made them leading from the 1-yard line instead of merely tied. These games are rarely decided about the one thing. They're usually decided by the last thing. That's what we end up talking about.
And remember, we started this season talking about the number of refs going to television and the number of refs retiring and how many young new refs we were going to have. Good thing it wasn't an issue.
Boy, that was a bad playoff loss, but I have seen worse.
Oh, boy.
No, you haven't.
No.
Yes!
Bum.
Yes!
Bum.
Guess which team Sarah Spain loves.
That's me. I see myself right behind there
Yes.
going like this. Yeah! He missed it? He hit it again?
Let's look at that bear mascot again. Sarah was in that costume. This is all of her emotions.
I am Staley. There he goes.
Yeah, right.
I love, yeah, there it is. That's the entire Bears season.
I didn't know you actually legally could just kick it right down the middle. I thought you had to try to bounce it off a couple things to go in.
Is the shift loss on D4?
Oh, come on. That game played that way with the Patriots dragging the Chiefs much of the game. The Chiefs did not deserve to win that game, and not just because Mahomes missed a couple of passes in the end zone that I feel like I could have punted the ball there and gotten a touchdown. They were slaughtered at the end, exhausted, because they got totally manhandled and outcoached in the first half when the Patriots should have been up by 3 touchdowns if Tom Brady doesn't make the mistake that he never ends up making on the 1-yard line. And then in the second half, the Patriots decided, you want to play it your way? We'll beat you that way too. On the last drive of your season, on 3rd and 10, 3 times we're going to complete it. You know how many times this season Ryan Tannehill completed 3rd and 10? 3 times all season. He did it on one drive because the Chiefs were exhausted because the Patriots ran twice as many plays during the game.
Yeah, the Patriots were -2 in turnover differential, and teams with a -2 or more in the playoffs are 6-44 before this. Probably every time it was the Patriots, if you had to take a guess. But that's important here because the Chiefs had their opportunities. Mahomes missed some of those throws. Mahomes took a bad sack in the first half that took them out of field goal position. They didn't stop them defensively in the overtime session when they could have. They didn't call timeouts when they could have tried to give their defense a break. And most importantly, they failed in the most important aspect of the game. They lost the coin flip. And I think we all know, to be fair, that if you flipped it and I told you that a team that was part of a 38-point fourth quarter was going to get the ball first in overtime, you're not telling me the Pats wouldn't have lost.
Let me tell you something about how impressive this Patriots victory was. And it's as impressive as any you'll see because they went on the road and they beat a team that was objectively better than them and one of the best offenses we've ever seen. The Patriots this season were plus 111 in point differential. In the awful, awful AFC East, they were plus 110. They were 1 point better than the rest of the league outside of their division, and they just went in and dragged that team.
Well, I told you guys that this is exactly what was going to happen. I predicted this, that the Chiefs, they were going to have a lead in the fourth quarter, and then Andy Reid is going to...
I mean, this is what... He did say that. That was his exact analysis. Yeah, I mean, yes. I honestly thought the Chiefs had the game won in 21-17. The Patriots scored 3 more times after that.
Does the NFL need to change the overtime rules?
Are we really doing this to Tom Brady and the Patriots? Are we so tired of them? The one question's going to be about Dee Ford, and then we were denied the right to see Patrick Mahomes in overtime because Tom Brady's just a little bit too great. No, they've already changed the overtime rules. They've changed them enough. I, too, would have liked to have seen Mahomes counter there, but Tom Brady ended them, and he should have, because the way that he played, they deserve to be ended by him.
Yes, we absolutely changed the rules, and not because of this game. People have been saying this before. It's about, oh, we don't want to see the Patriots again. Because when rules in the NFL increasingly favor the offense, when the 4 teams that make the championship weekend are the top 4 offenses, when there's 38 points in the fourth quarter, which shows you no one's getting any stops, when defenses are fatigued, and you can say with almost certainty that if the Chiefs had won the coin flip, they would have won the game, then it's about the coin flip and not about the play. And of course, defense is a part of the game. But when they stop them or don't stop them, then you give it to Mahomes and you do it again. You should do 1 full quarter in the playoffs because no one is satisfied with an ending to this game that never saw Patrick Mahomes get the ball.
2 great offenses in the other football game as well. One of them won the coin flip, got the ball, and the other one won because
and guess
of those
what? Both
cheating
of the
refs.
offenses touched the ball that time because the first offense messed up, defense made a play, and the second offense got the ball to make the score to win it. That does not elucidate in any way the problems of the overtime. It just sidesteps them.
One of the great sports weekends of my life, and we're talking about Dee Ford changing rules because Tom Brady won again. Admit it, that's the reason we're doing it, because Tom Brady won again.
Quarterbacks get rules changed, and not always in the favor that would help them.
Brady and Billy, you know, they have to make it every year,
Every
going
year.
into the Super Bowl,
Every
you know,
year.
every year, time after
Yes,
time
every
after
year.
time, you know. I'm telling you, I'm getting sick and tired of these 2
He's
guys.
not the only one. Brady has been more Super Bowls than road playoff games.
Did Antonio Romo put on the most impressive performance of the day?
You know what? I want to go the other way on this. I love the job Romo did. I learned things. I'm like you. I was amazed that he knew everything that was coming. But to me, it felt like an indictment of our entire industry that we don't understand the game and the people we're questioning the way that someone like Tony Romo does. To me, most broadcasters who are former players should be able to do something like that. Romo played recently enough that he knows that these are the things that are going to happen in these spots. He may not know it 10 years from now when the game evolves again, but he played so recently that this is the reason he was hired. This is the reason that Jay Cutler, Fox took a chance on him before he went to the Dolphins, because you want that kind of expertise where people are explaining to you in real time what's happening in a way that helps you understand why the Patriots and Brady are so good.
Yeah, it's very possible that a lot of other current and recently former players are watching and being like, what's the big deal? I know what they're going to do too. Romo's not Miss Cleo or some sort of psychic. But I'll say this much. The other broadcasters don't do this. We don't get educated and informed. We don't get the opportunity to look at a play before it happens and see what he's looking at so that we are watching with a more informed perspective. Whether or not that's an indictment on us, other broadcasters, or anybody else in the industry, it's useful and it's fun. And his energy plus his knowledge makes him my favorite broadcaster to watch when I'm watching the NFL, whether or not it's about him knowing what other people don't.
I think that Romo was very excited to be in a conference championship game.
Hey-o! It's a good joke.
Cheap shot, Poppy.
Unfortunately, my father thought he was throwing it to video there.
Should the Eagles reconsider committing to Carson Wentz long term?
Should they get rid of what they think is a franchise quarterback because the Philly Voice has a few players quoted as not liking the franchise quarterback? I know Nick Foles is more popular. This is a silly way to make decisions with anonymous quotes. If you want to look at Seattle, it didn't seem like the Seattle defense liked Russell Wilson very much, and it didn't matter. Look at those anonymous quotes and try and figure out who it is that was saying those things, because Ertz was the center of the offense when Wentz was there. My guess is he's not the one being quoted here. He was being thrown to, and then Foles came in, and it was other guys who were being thrown to.
Yeah, of course, it's different than just not liking him, right? If the problem really is about being too big for his britches, conflicts with the offensive coordinator, not running the plays that their coaches think are the right plays, that's a bigger deal than just a couple disgruntled guys who prefer Foles. Now, again, I think you're right. You don't decide big things like the future of your franchise quarterback based on a couple anonymous sources, especially since the Philly Voice quoted some people that are just around the NFL. They aren't even on the Eagles. I'm sure they would be happy to see him go elsewhere, like maybe the team that they represent anonymously. But yeah, it's not time to get rid of Wentz, although it is something that Wentz might think about going forward, and this might help alleviate some of those issues if it's in the back of his head.
Well, I think that I know who the source is.
Who's the source?
Nick Foles!
Oh,
Nick Foles! That's how he's going to get his job back. That's a good way to instigate the whole issue.
I've never
here.
liked Wentz. Don't put my name on that.
Coming up next on Highly Questionable.
Russell Westbrook. Russell probably thinks that's on purpose because of the force and clumsiness of that. Yeah, and now,
Yeah. I'm dead. Never mind. I'm super angry and I feel fine.
Liberty game that panics in small places. Do you question?
You give us topics and events. We question them.
Do you question which Zion play was more expensive?
That's actually the way that question should be asked, even though it says impressive there. Let's see which of these plays was more expensive for Duke as they pay this pro. They don't pay him. I'm just joking.
Oh, that'll get you paid, though.
That will get you paid. That's dribbling all the way down the court. That's three
1 on
people.
4. 1 on 4.
1 on 4 ends in a dunk.
I laugh in your faces. Oh, and I got fouled.
And a foul
and
on top
one.
of that. What's more impressive than that? Show me something more expensive than that.
A long-term thing, but he is not available tonight.
Ah!
Oh!
Rejection, and then a missed three. The official, I think.
I'm pretty sure
Oh, get...
he blocked that with his chin, didn't he? 2 hands and a chin. Good God. Good God.
Shouldn't be legal.
How about we just laugh? Just laugh. Both of them are equally expensive.
You know, I'm getting a little bit upset with this guy. That's all we do here, talk about this kid.
That's
you know?
right.
We don't talk about
jealous.
anybody else. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
We don't
He's
talk
a
about
ball hawk. He
He's
went
a
from one
ball
side to
hawk.
the other side of the court,
He's a
you know,
ball
without
hawk.
the dribbling
That's
that
right.
ball. You
That
know?
wasn't
The other,
impressive.
he
That
has
was
other
selfish.
teammates, you know what I mean?
Selfish.
Yeah, what's the big deal about that block? He blocked that shot that went right to the other Virginia player, you know. So that was a block, you know what I mean? If you're going to block, you got to do it right so it goes to your team, not the other team, you know what I mean? That's the way you got to do it. Do you question if Russell Westbrook had reason to be upset?
Hissing radiator Russell Westbrook always seems upset. They beat the Sixers. He's got a thing with Joel Embiid that goes back to last year. So in beating the Sixers, this happened during the game.
Good help by Adams. Nowhere to go. And they turned him over. Westbrook against Embiid. And
Oh! That's a lot of man falling down on Russell Westbrook. Russell probably thinks that's on purpose because of the force and clumsiness of that.
shaken up.
Yeah, and now,
Yeah. I'm dead. Never mind. I'm super angry and I feel fine.
Let's hear from Russell after he's done hissing over here in every direction. Let's hear what he had to say after the game.
I don't think he just landed me. He had a little extra to it. You know what I'm saying? But it's okay. You guys are cool? No.
That's magical. Here's the thing. You can't call Russell Westbrook a hissing radiator and not acknowledge that Joel Embiid is a babbling social media talker who comes after this and says, oh, he's mad about everything. Well, you laid him out and you put your entire 8,000-pound body directly on him when he was trying to make a layup. So I think he might have a case this time.
8,000 pounds doesn't seem accurate.
Do you question if this dog means business?
Usually when we cover dogs, they are making their business on the ice in hockey for some reason or somewhere else. What is the meaning of this business? Oh! Oh!
Hi, buddy.
He is flexing. He
my
is
God.
not happy. Oh, that is not asthma. That is snorting rage.
I think that dog might be related to my dog. Take a look.
I love how he readjusts his intimidation. He also looks like Lenny Dykstra.
That actually looks like one of my dogs, who is the laziest dog on earth, but anybody who came in would see him like this and immediately run away. In fact, if our alarm system isn't working, we're not really concerned. We kind of hope someone tries to come in just so we can watch the damage.
Well, I can relate to that dog. You know, I do the same thing when I'm constipated.
Oh, God.
Northwestern.
Highly questionable is broadcast from the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that is feeling extra combative. See? Oh no.
You
Maybe
tell
like
us what
that
to
one.
watch on TV tonight. He salsas and makes it look like boxing.
Salsa?
On TNT, Warriors and Lakers.
Always here for the Warriors. Boogie Cousins the other day made his debut. What an embarrassment of riches that they could just throw this guy out there and say, hey, play 15 minutes, you can foul out, it doesn't matter, because do that for us. He scored 14 points. He made some threes. Yeah, all right.
That's a good way to start.
Yeah, good luck with all of that, league. Sarah, are you intrigued?
I'm intrigued by that. I'm not intrigued by a Lakers team without Rondo, Lonzo, or LeBron against the Warriors. That's going to be bad.
Ooh, pitiful. Papi, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? Because the Lakers are going to lose tonight and they're going to fall into 10th place. And they're going to keep falling down and down and down. So don't worry about coming back, LeBron. That's it. You can take all the time you want, buddy. Take care of your groin. Take good care of your groin.
All right, very good.
At 3 a.m. on ESPN 2, the Australian Open.
3 a.m. No, not interested in this, but here's a player who doesn't have his identification trying to get past security. How did that work out?
Federer.
That player should probably be allowed. Oh, this
no.
guy. Where's your tag?
Oh, Hardo at the door.
Look at how
Sorry, bro.
respectful Federer is. If any of you were this great at tennis, you would have set fire to that security guard. Yeah, he's with
That's
me.
amazing. I like at the end, the guy's kind of like, oh, right. Think I know this guy. My bad.
He is tennis. Sarah, I guess you're already intrigued?
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I know Dan would have been like, do you know who I am?
That's right. I would have dragged that guy by the hair. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. Are you kidding me? That security guard is a tough guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. You know, I tell you, if you don't have credentials with you, you're not going through this entrance here, buddy, because I'm the guy in charge.
Let
You
me
know what I mean?
explain
That's
something
it.
to you,
What?
guy in charge. There's no one in tennis who has more credentials than that guy.
Tonight on CBS, Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, Poppy, there's someone in Celebrity Big Brother. She's reacting prematurely. You had his Heisman Trophy in your garage for like
is that
6
right?
years. Who is it? Who is it?
Ricky Williams.
See? It's true. It's
That's
true.
right.
Is he in here? Let's see what we've got. Oh, I'm torn.
No to the mooch.
I want Ricky, but mooch. Ooh.
Once
Poppy.
Tom Green actually asked me on a date via MySpace about 14 years ago. Deep cut.
What a beautiful story. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. But you know what? I think I made a mistake when I had that Heisman Trophy from Ricky Williams. I should have sold the thing, you know, make some money. You know, I kept it, I guarded it with my life, and then this guy doesn't even thank me for it. You know what I mean? I tell you one thing.
Ricky,
That's
you
right.
still owe my father $20. He
That's
gave you
right.
some
That's
money
another one. That's right. My 20, I want my $20 back with interest plus. You know what I mean? That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Want you to listen to Sarah's podcast. That's what she said. Download it.
You know who didn't win the Heisman? This guy.
Oh, wow. That's a reach. Oh, my God.
Enough!
Totally fair. Totally fair.
Porky strikes again.